and welcome to another episode in my Christmas calendar series. In an earlier episode we took a peek at the Acer 1100 portable computer that actually turned out to be a compact LTE rip-off or clone. But as we saw in that magazine outlet that I had a clip of in that movie, they also released an office computer at the same time with the same specifications about. And that is actually this one here. This is Acer named 1120 SX, and that we are going to take a quick peek of now. And this computer is also in the original shape that I got it. It has some EU number and disk C plus D 30 megabytes, and it's Acer 1120 SX and password and some other stuff written on here. And this machine has a not so original looking 5¼ inch floppy drive, and it has an original looking 3.5 inch floppy. And this machine was sold by the company Unique. That's why they have this silvery badge that's actually bigger than the Acer logo on this machine. And it also has some theft marking and serial number over here. So that's it for the front. Of course we have the power switch, and we have a missing cover here. And that was a module you could put in here to add some extra drives and stuff, and this probably disappeared when they put in this 5¼ inch drive without having the original brackets. And on this side you have something so excited, so my keyboard lock, and you also have both the mice and keyboard connector here on the front. And on the back you can see that someone has been in here and tampered before, and that it's actually me. And I do have a network card in here, and I do have this SD card reader. This machine has built-in VGA, built-in 2 COM ports, 1 parallel port, and a special Acer power supply that actually is original power supply, but they have a smaller fan, and the grill system is a bit different, but the form factor on this is standard power supply. And as I've been in this before, it's probably not the greatest excitement to see if this works, but there actually is 1 or 2 years since I actually turned this on, so we do of course need to test it. And to test this I can use CRT, or I can try to do an old LCD. I will have to go and get those now. I don't have an Acer keyboard, but I do have a good old black IBM keyboard with the PS2 connector. And I'm not prepared for anything so modern as Windows here, so if there is Windows on this one, we have to make do with this original new in-box Logitech serial mouse. And what more do we need? Of course we need the monitor. I will try to zoom like so, then it will maybe be space for a monitor. And I do have several options, but the only one I found the VGA cable for is this beast here, and this is an old Hewlett Packard display, and it's LCD. I will try to move this a bit so that you can be able to see like so. And this is a 19 inch HP display, and it's quite old and it's not in perfect working condition. This socket is broken, so it tilts a bit. But as I said, I didn't have the VGA cable here for connecting the 15 inch monitor that I was thinking of using. So I will just connect the bits and pieces, and that mostly means power, like so. And the monitor went to rest again. I will turn on the overhead lights maybe. And the moment of truth. We have been visiting Acer before in this series, so we will not go much into on the background, but this time it's about the 1120SX computer, and this is a computer that was launched alongside the portable 1100 LX that we contained in an earlier video. As Acer is a very old and traditional PC manufacturer, they did kind of have a name already back in those days as a high quality manufacturer of computers. And this is something that we featured in the original video about the 1100 LX, and here they stated that this machine, the desktop 1120SX, runs on 16 MHz and it contains a 386SX chip. Our machine is a later version that runs on 20 MHz 386SX. Otherwise, the machines was similar from the start. And this was in June 25, 1990, so we know that this machine was launched sometimes in 1990. The exact age of our machine we don't quite know. And this machine was launched with DOS 3.3, and it has one 1.44 MB floppy drive built in, and it has either a 40 or 128 MB hard drive. Since our model is the 20 MHz version, I do think it has a 120 MB hard drive as standard. I have not looked really into that, as the hard drive does not spin up and is defect in our model. And the machine has built-in parallel ports, serial ports, and SVGA adapter. And the 5.25-inch drive that fitted into our specimen is an aftermarket drive, and that you can see that they have not had the original bracket in front to hide the holes that is on the side of the drive. This is from an ad from the Acer 1120SX where they compare it to the competition. And it's quite clear that they was selling on price, and that they also had 2-year warranty where the competition only offered 1 year. And they do also have a really questionable setup here where they try to sum up these things and come with the price. And the motherboard has a proprietary layout, and that was quite common. And motherboards that looks about the same was common for both Hyundai, Coupam, Commodore, Goldstar, and lots of other manufacturers back in the day. They tried to cut cost with putting functionality on the main board that previously has been in expansion slots. And the onboard VGA chip is a custom chip, and it's SVGA, but I have not found support for it in Windows 3.11. At least not with the drivers I have found. I only able to get this to work on the 256 colors in normal VGA mode. But of course that is a kind of super VGA, but it's not 800 by 600 or anything higher resolution as far as I know. And the card can be removed as it's slotted into here, but you do have to remove the motherboard to get this out. And once this card is removed, you can put in another ESA VGA card. There is also a disable switch on this, but I have not been able to get that to work. This machine suffers the same problem as the original machine, where the clock chip runs out of use, and I have modified my computer in this regard. I have not put the clock battery on top as in this picture, but I do have it in an external battery pack removed away from the rest of the machine and made it replaceable. It did get some light on, and we did see some blinking on the LCD. And we do see some faults here. There actually is some line here. If it's the monitor or if it's the computer, I'm not sure. But here you can see these boots with the XT IDE BIOS and Cactus Flash, because this BIOS does not support drives bigger than 120 megabytes. And that's it for starting this in DOS. And this is probably DOS 6. No, this is DOS 5.0 actually. I probably choose that as a starting point because it's easier to, when you don't have the BIOS settings, to make a floppy drive work in 720K than 1.44 megabyte. But this machine should have Windows. Yeah, I will try to connect this mouse. I'm not sure if this is the one that I have installed drivers for on this one. Yeah, you can see here it actually is the display that is bad and showing this stripe. I will now change the camera angle so that we can focus on the LCD. As the tilt is broken on this one, it will never be a perfect picture anyway, but we have to do what we have. And it was installed with this mice, so this is working just beautiful. The problem I had with this Acer is that the built-in VGA card is not able to handle other solutions than normal VGA. So this is installed with 640 by 480 normal VGA with 256 colors. And this machine also is installed with Turbo Pascal 5.5. I have not made a batch file to start this. But this is the normal Turbo Pascal 5.5 installed from scratch, and I do have the original license for all versions of Pascal since version 5, so 5.5 and 6. But we are not going to run into any programming at this stage. Okay, there are some demos in this environment. I've not loaded most drivers for this. Demos. Oh, it's archive files. Yeah, it's just test to test CRT or whatever. I'm not sure. It's called test CRT or something. Alt window. Okay, so it just makes a new window using the window object. Okay, and it's alt arrows random text inside the last window. Okay. Oh, it's just to list the directory in DOS. Okay, so this is the demo of the Pascal library for making a graphics user interface. This is Turbo Pascal's own routines for making a GUI, a graphical user interface, and it's the same that is used to actually build the Turbo Pascal's own developing unit framework. Yes, at least we have established that this computer works as it should. Yeah, I can take a short run through what I actually done with this machine since I got it. And this machine was also something that I stumbled upon that someone should throw away. So I paid them to send it to me and for packaging. And this machine has a dead hard drive, but the hard drive is still inside here, and it's all original other than that. But what I have done with this machine is that I have added a network card and burnt a XT IDE BIOS ROM. And this is a BIOS ROM that uses the original IDE interface that's integrated on this motherboard to access the flash compact card. And then I just put an IDE to a flash card reader and mounted it on the back in spare brackets on the back, so the flash drive card is accessible from the back. That makes it easy if I want to oh, didn't turn off. This knob here is connected to the power supply via a long rod that push a button back in the power supply. But this compact flash, it's a 512 megabyte device, and this is an industrial grade 512 megabyte from Cactus Technologies. So this is not the cheap run-of-the-mill stuff that you buy on the grocery store. This is a solid device that's lasts a long time. The ordinary compact flash cards, that's the run-of-the-mill product, is meant to be used in cameras and stuff, where they are used to store low-intensity files of greater size and be a more permanent storage. But as you use this system on a hard drive based systems, it will be a lot of I/O operations, and there will be a lot of writings of small blocks onto the card. And I always use industrial grade compact flash when I do this kind of things. I have been disappointed many times in other cases. And the cards from Cactus is available today, and they are very good options. They are expensive, but they do last. And this adapter is also still being sold. They have it in stock on several local shops in Norway. And this is my go-to solution if I need to put a compact flash card into an existing AT machine with a built-in IDE controller. This device, you just put it into the IDE bus and you supply it with the 5 volt and you are about ready to go. And if your system like this one has limitations in the BIOS to what drive size you should have, the XT IDE BIOS is a perfect match for you. And this is a community developed project and it's very high quality. And they do updates of this all the time, so the latest updates that's available here is actually made in November this year. And the main purpose of this for an AT user is to be able to extend the drive size or some other flexibility with the controller. But for XT kind of computers, you will be able to connect an XT IDE or other means of using interfaces to connect this to an 8-bit PC, as an IDE drive needs to be connected to an 16-bit bus. And what I've done in this machine is that I used a 3Com Etherlink 3 card, where I just flashed a BIOS, put it into this available socket. You can use any Ethernet device that has this socket, and this socket is meant to have a customized boot prom to boot the computer directly off the network. But this will also work as a BIOS extension, as it's in the same address space of a normal AT computer. And you have to configure the network card so that the I/O address for the BIOS is right and also for the right EEPROM size. And the other benefit of using the socket on the network card to fit the XT IDE BIOS is that I now have an Ethernet card in this machine, and it's a 3M Ethernet card. So it's possible to get an IP stack on this machine and make it access the internet or whatever. And this machine I actually have used quite a lot because it's the only working machine I have with both a 1.44 mega drive floppy and a high density 5¼ inch floppy. So when I need to convert something or copy something, or someone comes to me with an old floppy disk and want to do something, I use this computer. But now it has been in storage for well over a year since I moved office and put this in storage instead of having it in my office. So that's it for this video about my Acer 1120 SX. I thought that was a natural follow-up to the 1100 SX that we featured in an earlier video. And as you can see, this machine is in almost working order. Of course, I could have put in a new IDE drive in here, but I chose not to. And I forgot to mention, but this machine also had one of them dreaded Dallas chips, and that I have removed, and I have put in a modified Dallas chip with an external battery. And this was also put in a socket, so it will be easy to change later on both the Dallas chip and or the battery that is connected with leads to the Dallas package. So thanks for watching. Hope you liked the content. Please hit subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next episode. Thanks for watching.